Hello, I'm going to do a video today, which I've been meaning to do for quite a while. I'm just going to walk through using advanced steel and the benefits of it and how I use it. This may be not necessarily how everyone wants to use it, but it'll give you some insight into the whole process of modeling, the toolbars, and what you're going to use. All right, so let's just open it up. So I've just installed Advanced Steel 2022. I had some issues because I have a lot of customization, so not necessarily sure that it's Autodesk's fault, but I'm working my way through it, so hopefully it'll be okay. It takes a second to open. So I'm going to open one of these files. So this is your startup menu. So when you start up, you're going to have the option to open. You're going to have previous files that have been opened. And then here you have new, where you can open a new template. So these are where your templates are. These templates are stored in your USA folder if you're working the USA version. I won't get into the small details, but these can all be edited. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up one of these files. So I'm going to open up the VA Nord port. So as you can see, we're in 2D wireframe here. We'll give it a second to open. I'm going to close down these tool palettes just so you can see me opening them up. I'll close all this stuff down. This here is a model view. So I can show you how to create one as well, but I'll leave that one there for now. So these are your views here. Now you can edit these in your visual style managers or create new ones, but generally you're probably going to work with a 2D wireframe or a wireframe. So usually it doesn't take this long. It's only because I just started, and this is a project from a previous version of Advanced Steel. So you can't see through. So this type of model is no good for working on because you can't see stuff on the other side. Visually, it'll take you a little bit of time to get used to watching the model, because generally you're going to be working in a 2D wireframe mode like this. So it's a lot of lines, but you're able to find stuff. Your eyes will take a second to get used to it, but you can pick points. If you're just kind of working on outputting drawings, you can set it to shaded so you can see what's going on. These are cameras, which I'll cover in a little bit also. So this video will be long. I didn't previously try the video, so it's probably going to be half hour, 40 minutes, something like that. All right, so as you can see right now, this is a model. This blue section is the new section, and the gray section is the existing steel, which we are connecting to down here. And the existing steel I have in as a specific color and a specific model role so that it will plot out in a gray color. So first of all, let's have a look up top. We have a quick access toolbar up the top where I've added the layers panel. So basically up here is your main menu, so you can get new files, save, all that, import, export, all that. So you can export 3D DWFs, stuff like that, publish, print. You might use some of these. So across here then, this is also does the same thing. So I just use these buttons really, to save and to save as and the plot. Then you have undo and the redo. We haven't done anything, so we can't redo anything. I also like to have the match properties up here and a couple of other ones. So you can add anything up here to the quick access toolbar by coming down here, and let's say you want to do the CUI interface. Add that to quick tabs, so you can see it's right there. So if I click on this, this will open up, and what we can do is we can create new ribbons in here. So I've kind of jumped ahead a little bit, so we'll get back to this. custom user interface. All right, so let's go to home. We're going to go to the home tab, and we're going to cover what's on the home tab and what I use. So first of all, in the Project Explorer here, generally you will not, these three here in the middle are included with the Project Explorer. So if you just open this Project Explorer and keep it here, that'll be useful. Also, you have the model browser. If you go into the model browser, you can now come inside and you can pick parts. So you can see C2 are those parts. So now I have everything numbered, so that's good. You can also, I won't get into this too much either, but you can see how powerful it is, where you can grab the pieces you want. And then also you can come in here and you can insert a column, and let's say I want to do naming model role to make sure things have model roles, and there you can see down here existing, so everything there. So this one doesn't have a model role, and it's concrete down here, so we're not worried about that. So you can get the idea. The model browser, very useful for checking out your parts. So let's close that down. So the Project Explorer then is what controls, sorry, I have that highlighted, that's why that's orbiting weirdly. So over here we have the model browser. Again, I'll just go through this quickly. You have model views. So I have model views, the roof. So if I turn that on, it activates this model view. Now, generally, I'll put in one model view at the start of a job, and I'll rename it as work area. And then I'll use that to limit my work area. So what I can do is I can select this box, and of course the box is inside in the concrete, which makes it more difficult for me. So we can just do this, and then we can use it that way in order to control the model. So you can see I've lost some of my peers because it's gone that way, and we'll come back this way so we can see all of that. All right, so that's, now you can create these model views anywhere. So what you can do is, if I turn on, I don't know if I have any connection boxes in here. I may have, like there's a connection box here, but a lot of these connections are copied around. So let's see. So if you want to just do a point on, there's different ways to create model views. So you can do here, or you can go here, structure. So you can create structures. I don't use them, so I'm not going to get into that. It's for bigger jobs. So I'm going to create a new model view, and we can pick one point on the UCS and just pick here, and then it's going to, I'll just call it corner for now, and what direction you want to look. And there you go. Now you have a model view here. So now if I have this model view, they kind of interfere with each other. So what you want to do is turn that one off, and then turn this one on, and now you can go right in there. And you know, that's very useful. And you can also double click on that. Oh, sorry, if you double click on it, it deactivates it. So I activated it, and if we go in and do advanced properties, we can see here's all our properties, and we can also go to camera properties, and we can create an automatic camera from that. So it will behave like a camera. So what I can do is detail, and then we'll call it corner connection. Corner connection, and then the style will be detailed view of mine. So I'll customize detail view, which you can customize yourself. It's super customizable. And we can also select what objects. I want everything to be included, so I'll consider all objects. This is a new feature in 2022. And camera properties is good, clipping good, and that's good. All right, so now if we go back and right click, you can also show the camera graphic, which I like to do, so I know which ones have cameras and which don't. But sometimes there's a lot going on the screen, so sometimes it's better to have that turned off. And also you can change the default direction if you want by just right clicking on it. So very powerful. There's many ways. As you can see, there's 4 different ways here to create them. They basically do the same thing. The grid line one is super useful for creating views, sections through buildings, so that's really nice. Elevations through buildings. So all right, I'll move on. So queries is another thing we can do. So let's turn. You can also copy these if you want. So let me deactivate this one, and if I select this one and I copy it, let's say I want to copy it over to the other corner, so let's copy it from the center point there to the center point here. Now I can override the snap by shift right click, and then I can pick midpoint, and then it will only snap to midpoints. Now your snapping tools are controlled down here on the bottom. You can see your object snap, and you can select what you want to snap to here. Some people say it's good to just have nodes set, but I like to have center and a couple other ones, you know, maybe grid intersection points and stuff like that. So whatever your preference is, really. So this is your toolbar at the bottom. Now that I've had a quick look at it, I'll get back to that in a second. So I've copied this over, and you can see that you just need to rename it. So right click and rename. And we'll just call it corner 2. So corner 2, okay? And that's that other view over here. Sorry, didn't. No, there now. All right, so in here, you can also create a new folder if you want. So you can create a new folder, and we'll just name it 1. Okay, and then you can drag these inside that folder if you want. So there's a folder system in here, which is very good. Most of the time I don't use it because I don't really do very big jobs, to be honest. So I do some decent sized jobs, but nothing too big. So queries then is another one. So what we can do is we can select a part like this one. Let's name it. It's CH2, right? So if we want to do a query, let's come up here. This is levels. You know what? We'll do levels. So you can create levels in the model. So let's cancel that for a second, and let's check what our level is down here. So go to home, and we want to insert a level. So let's come in here, and we're going to do a level symbol, and we're going to go in here, and we're going to see the absolute height is -2 and 2.8. Okay, -2'8". So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a level at -2'8". Level 0. Now you can call that whatever you want. Ground, floor, base level none. Okay. So now what's happened is I've activated that, and now it's not showing me anything else, only what's on that level. So you want to deactivate that. So levels I don't generally use either, to be honest with you, because I don't really have a full understanding of it yet. But so basically what happens is if you activate a level, so if you go in here, structures and work planes. So you can have the ground floor. You can see I have a ground floor here. So let's come back in and we'll create another level at this level here, right? So let's check and see what this level is here. Of course, it's an obscure, it's a weird number. So 15 foot 5 and 13/16. So I'll just create 2 levels. I'm not going to get into this. It's, you know, I'd spend too much time on this. I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there showing you how to do this, so I won't get into it. I'll just show you what the features are. So this one is the level and the altitude and the height. So I want the height to be, I can't even remember what it was now, 15 foot 5 and 13/16 or something like that, was it? 15 foot 5 and 13/16. Okay, and now that'll activate that level. So I think it was 16.5, was it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So what happens is then you can go in to the work planes here, and now you can see you have 2 work planes, and you can activate these and deactivate them, and you can draw your beams on those levels, and they will be connected to those levels. And then if you go back in, let's say your level changes, if you change this number, it will move all the beams also. So I don't use it, haven't really found it works great for me, so I'll just leave it at that. Model views, work areas. We'll move on to queries. So if we want to do a query, like I was saying, this is a CH2, but let's say we don't know where CH2 is and we want to try and find it. So we're going to create a query. So we're going to come in here, we're going to mark it whatever color we want to assign it. We want to assign it green. We want to do the complete model. Objects, we want steel beams. Generally just pick beams, plates, whatever, you know, it really, we're only doing beams, so beams is fine. Common properties, you can see there's a whole slew of stuff here that you can select from, and I think they've added some new stuff like the cameras. We can check in the cameras as well. So we're going to go to numbering. We'll do it basic this time, and we're going to do main part marks and the assembly mark and the prefix. So the prefix was CH, right? CH, and the assembly mark was 2. Now if you click this box, it'll pick everything that's not CH2, that's a beam and a plate. So let's save that, and we'll save that search as CH2, and that'll pop up over here as CH2. You can see it here, CH2. And there it marks the beams. Now it's highlighted the beams, you have to mark them after that. So in order to mark these, I'm going to open up the tool palettes that I use. So you're going to go to your home tab, select connection vault, and there's your connection vault with all your connections. And then I'm going to do my advanced steel tool palette, which is here, and this has all your little features and stuff which you want to use while you're working. Very useful. Need that opened. Also over here, I won't open it yet, but if you go in your tool palette now, these are highlighted. If you come down here, sorry, this is actually an AutoCAD palette. I'll just close that for now out altogether. So if you come in here, we can see that we have, these are highlighted, sorry. So if we come in here, this is your selection part of your tool palette, and come here, it will now select those beams for you. So those beams are now selected. If you want to do something with them, move them, whatever you want to do. So you can do all sorts of other sort of filters, and you can see here, I have, there's one here with beams with no model rolls. So if I click on that, the beams with no model rolls are these ones. So this was a mistake I made in the job. I should have had these with a model role, right? And I should have checked that, and I didn't. So there you go. I should use my own queries, right? And then beams that are not a, so you can have these really awesome searches, you know, really amazing. So beams that are not a 90, you know, so you can basically select anything you want for queries. Just the way I did the first query, you just need to do the same, and you can come back in and edit these. So you can rename them. You can go to properties to edit them. So numbering, you could change that to like a 3. Now, if I do OK, now it doesn't change the name, so you want to come in here and rename that. So just rename that so you don't get messed up later. And now it's selecting the ones that have 3 on them. Or else you can just create another query, right? So you can have as many queries as you want, and you can create a folder in here also for queries. So you could have one for beams and one for plates, whatever you choose. Okay, so beams, plates. All right, so getting a bit slowed down here, but then you can create groups, which I like, because you can, let's say, if I'll just do it quickly. If you want to select stuff like here, right? Now, obviously, we're not going to select these sort of, we're not going to have that sort of selection. But if you want to kind of work in a phase without working in a phase, if you know what I mean, we can just pick these selection of beams, and then we can select everything that's connected in the shop. Do something like that, right? And we're going to create a new group. So come up here, create a new group, and name this. We can just call it phase 1, even though it's not phase 1. So let's just call it that for now. And then we can add these. So come in here, add elements, and now when that selection is turned off, you can go back in here and select elements, and it'll select all those elements for you again. All right, so this is your model browser, or sorry, this is your project explorer. Very useful, a lot of tools in here. You know, you could spend hours just explaining this, but you can see what sort of control you have there. So basically with Advanced Steel, you're going to start off modeling the project. You're going to go to your, you're going to open your toolbars. You're going to be ready to start the job. You're going to come in objects. Here you have your grids, your beams. There's other objects like concrete objects. You have gratings here. You have plates over here. These are like folded plates. And then you have like your bolts. So you can switch the type of anchors you want to put in, or bolts here by clicking on this. And then use these here to insert them. You got some extra stuff over here for adding and removing bolts, stuff like that. So basically you want to set yourself up. You're going to draw your model. You're going to try and draw everything square as you can. So you're going to want to draw vertical and then copy. Just make sure everything is correct. So you can see that this now is, let me see, so you can also restrict the movement. So I just create columns as beams, to be honest with you. There is a column command here where you can just put in a column. Now you can see that this column kind of came in weird, right? It's not what you might have been expecting to come in here. So if I go back here to my, sorry, not my structure, my work planes, you can see I have these work planes in here. So I can turn those off. And now if I put in the column, you can see it came in differently because it's not controlled by those work planes. Now it's controlled. So this is basically this is basically saying that I want a column from the ground floor to the first floor. So if you put the column in and pick that point, it puts it in from there up. Now you can see my levels are incorrect, right? So I put my work planes in wrong. So I shouldn't have put in the minus. So let's just go back and we'll try and fix it now. Although again, I'm going to get stuck in the weeds here, but let's just change the ground floor. Like I say, I don't use these too often, so let's just make this 0. So you can see straight away that that column has changed, right? And this level here was 15.5 and 13/16. 15.5 and 13/16. So change this to 15. So this is how you can see how powerful it is, right? So you can see that by doing that, if I had 20 columns in here, they all would have shortened up and they all would have lengthened on the top. So it is quite powerful. Now, I don't use it as of yet, but I probably will start using it. We'll move on from this Project Explorer. We did the model browser. As you can see across here, you have just 2D tools, and here we have some beam stuff, some objects. This is a mishmash of whatever else is through the rest of Advanced Steel. This is your home tab. It's got kind of a lot of the main stuff squeezed in. The important stuff is, the super important stuff is the connection vault, the Advanced Steel tool palette, the numbering, and create lists is useful, but that's not how I create lists. So this is for your Dxf files, for output files for machines, and then you have your management tools, which is a whole nother thing. So for now, we have the connection vault is here. All your connections are in here. You can see if you go to the second one, it's plates at beams, but you can see it's like a column. And then, hold on, plates at beams. So that's a column and a beam, and then there's beam end to end, and then there's platform beam. So you can go through all these. You can also save them to your favorites. So if you create a favorites folder, you can just drag them into that, or sorry, you can just go here and hit the star and it'll put it in your favorites. In order to move these pallets, you can move the bottom one. If you move one to the bottom of the other one, it'll snap to it. If you move that bottom one away again, it'll move away from it. But if you move the top one, it'll move the two of them. So I like to dock mine underneath here. So basically, you're going to learn how to model up your job. That's the fun part. So you're going to use all the tools along here. You know, you can see there's handrails here. Everything is squeezed in here. So you can also, in your custom user interface, you can create your own ribbon if you want. I have my own ribbon here with some custom commands. The second one here is objects. So objects is just, you have grids here, you have beams, these are your concrete. So a lot of this stuff was already covered on the home tab. Your bar grating, your plates, and here's your connections, the same thing. So a lot of the objects tab is on the home tab. So I'm going to skip my custom one, and I'm going to go to extended modeling. And you have stuff here like structural elements like bracing, handrails, stairs, connection vault is here again. Giant utilities, don't use a lot of these, to be honest, don't really use them at all. Model check, performs an audit, so you can click on that. You can see no errors found, look at that. I guess I ran the check before. So no errors found. So there are all sorts of model checking. There's clash checking here, so there's probably some clashes because I have some bricks and stuff like that, which I wouldn't. So you can see there's plenty of clashes, hundreds of clashes. Clash check's very important. Do run your clash check. As you can see, let's see where we have a clash. So it's saying that I have a clash on the L 5x5x3/8. So the channel and the beam. See, I don't. So I don't know if there's a slight modeling error there. There's something happening. Let's try another one. There'll be a lot of bolts hitting as well. So let's click on this one, see what this one is. So it'll bring you to it. So anyway, you can figure that out yourself. Obviously, it's not ideal to have as many clashes as I have here, right? So most of them, or all of them, aren't really an issue, you know. You should always run your clash checks. So if we go through here, you can see there's steel construction technical checking. You can actually do, this is the weight, so center of gravity, total weight, but just be careful, it'll give it to you here, but we just have to make sure it's not bringing in the existing steel. So you know what you can do is, I believe you can just take a selection and you can see it'll just come in with the weight. So if I select that one beam and do it, you can see the beam is 3,500 pounds. So we can actually click on the beam and right click, and let's go to part detail. Okay, it's going to upgrade it because this job was started in a previous version. And we can see that the beam is 3,523 pounds. So you can see here it takes into account the holes, and here it has not. So that's something that I need to look into, because these weights should really be the same. So that's something you can fix. But that also is an easy way of finding piece details. Just right click on them. So select them and then right click and show part detail. Now it won't come up with that box for you if you've created in the same version. So we can see there's 7 of these and they're 993 pounds each. Or sorry, 993 pounds total. So you can see again, this total covers the holes, and this one does not. So I might edit this one. This is controlled in a bill of materials on drawing, which can be edited to carry whatever you want in it. These are all controlled in your prototype. So basically you're going to model in your job, then you're going to number it. So you're going to use the numbering, and then you're going to use all these tools to get to where you need to be. So let's say you have this modeled in. So the modeling is probably what most people can do. So after you model it in, you're going to want to add cameras and stuff like that. So what we'll do is we'll just continue with a quick look through this. So you have your document manager is important here. Your numbering is here. If you come in here, the toggle switch, you can switch between single parts, main parts, preliminary, back to single parts, and then you can delete the numbering, or you can assign prefixes, things like that. Drawing styles, very important. Drawing processes, very important. So these are generally palettes I'd have opened all the time, and bill of materials templates. So I keep these right here. it's a little herky-jerky, to be honest with you, compared to the 2021 version I was using. So generally this is how I operate it. So across here you have a lot of other stuff as well, your Dxf files, your plot stuff, and view. I don't really get into this too much. You sometimes have to come in here to turn on and off your view cube, your UCS icon. You can see it here at the origin, and it's turning on and off. The other stuff here, not really that useful. Labels and dimensioning, you will definitely be using this a lot. When you get into your piece details, you want to add some dimensions and insert points, delete points, insert weld symbols, insert labels, insert drawing lists, update details, update lists. Down here, update page header is a useful one. Export import, you can see you can export import from Revit, and attach files when you want to put a PDF in at the start. XREF manager. You have in here, we have tools, so you have measure, match properties, tool palettes, useful, the custom user interface, which I use to create this tool palette. So if you go into the custom user interface, you can see, if I come into ribbon tabs, this should be, that's a tab up top. So toolbar, it's a toolbar, sorry, toolbar and AirCAD, and that's the toolbar. So you can see this is the same as this up here. So you can create your own custom toolbar. You can put whatever you want in here. So you can just scroll through, or you can filter out what you want. So let's say transfer is a good one. TRNSFER, transgender. Oh my, transfer properties is a good one, right? So what you want to do is the bill of materials editor is here. So what I'll do is insert a separator, and then I'll do transfer properties, and I'll put transfer properties in there. And if I do apply, you can see that it has already added it here. So that's great. And what I'll do is I'll also put in match properties. So a lot of people there's a lot of videos out there on how to model and stuff, so I'm not getting into the modeling, just in case you're wondering. I should have, I guess, mentioned that. Match properties, and I'm going to also put that in here next to this one. I'll put it before it. Apply, you can see that that'll pop up here. So literally you can just populate this the whole way across. You can put them on the side if you want. So you could have another one over here, you can have another one over here. I mean, you know, really it's crazy. Some people have loads of them, but it's ridiculous. I mean, I think one at the top is perfectly fine for me, but that's up to yourself. Alright, so now you can see I have these nice tools here that I can just click on, really useful. So basically we'll keep going. So view, we did that. Labels, dimensions, we did that. Export, tools, render, you won't really use this, I don't think. Collaborate, so all these over here are kind of I didn't even see half of these before, to be honest with you. I did like the JTB batch editor, but it just keeps stopping working for me. Plugins, screencast is good if you want to record something and send it to Autodesk website or the forum. So we'll keep going. We'll go to the Power Pack. So Power Pack, be honest with you, I have the Power Pack for 3 years and have not been able to use it, haven't been able to install it. I don't know, just have issues with it. doesn't work half the time, and then when it is working it interferes with other stuff. It could be my own problem too, to be honest, but yeah, not sure about the power pack. There's lots of useful tools in there, nothing that I use on a weekly basis because I can't get it to work anyway. Alright, so basically you're going to create a file in Advanced Steel. You're going to create a model like this and you're going to save it. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a folder system. So what I do is I have in here projects. So these are my projects, and this, where is this project? This one here. So if you go in, I have a folder system. I have a 1, 2, 3. I have documents received, documents sent, DWG, and pics. So I have all other rubbish here. So basically you want to save in the DWG. Once you save in the DWG, this is something I created myself. It will automatically, once you output a drawing, it will automatically create this folder here, VNR port, which will match the name of the DWG. When you go in, it will have your bill of materials, it will have your databases, it will have your details. This one here is a backup I've created, so I create a folder and copy these in as the job changes. DSTV, so this is all your machine files, which output at the push of a button, and extracts. Don't really use them, so let's not worry about that for now. So that's your folder system. So what I do is I'll have this will be my project. I'll leave work today, I'll come in tomorrow, I'll go to work, or in a week's time I'll come back to work on this job. I will copy this job, I will paste it. Now I also have this uploaded online, and then I will rename this with the date. So I will put it in as today's date, so 5/19/2022, and then I can continue with this, and I know I have a safe version from this date. So that's how I do it. Now something that's good practice also is to have another folder in here called prototypes. Now if you put a folder in here called prototypes, and you put the prototypes you want this company to use in here, it will automatically default to this prototypes folder and will use this file. So that is good practice. It stops you having to mess around with your drawing styles and your drawing processes. All right, so maybe that's good practice, something I'm going to do moving forward. So maybe you should try that too. So basically you're going to have your model here. So your model now is ready to output drawings. So what's generally good practice is, you can see we have some cameras in here. So in order to put cameras in, we can go here and come up here, and you can see here's a camera and here's a camera. Now earlier I showed you how I created a camera at this node. So what I'll do is now just keep in mind when I do this that this is how you will do the whole job. So in order to put this on pieces of paper, we can do either this camera, or we can come in here and go to properties. Sorry, I meant to go advanced properties. Sorry, advanced properties and camera, and I have the camera already created. Okay, so the camera is ready to go. Now you can select the objects you want or pick everything. I'm going to pick everything. I'm not going to get into picking objects. So that's good. So what I'm going to do now is I can select this, and I can come over here to my drawing styles. So what happens is you can just put these on yourself on sheets with specific drawing styles, whichever drawing style you want to use. So, but then there's also drawing processes. So the first process is a drawing style. So I already have given this a drawing style. So if you come in here, advanced properties, sorry, I keep double clicking on it. You can see I have this drawing style used. Detail view, ADM, 330 seconds, okay? So I'm going to highlight this again. All right. So this is a drawing style already. Now I need to use a process to put this on a sheet. So the process I will use is the process of cameras. So this is cameras here, but I have my own one down here in the bottom, which I need to add an icon for. So you can see one is my own and one is the different companies. So I'm going to pick the other companies, and I'm going to give it a drawing number of 600, we'll say, right? So let's call it 600. Okay. Let's see, 600. All right, so I didn't select it, I guess, the first time. So there you can see it's on sheet 600. So basically what we can do is you can restrict the cameras. So let me double click on this again. So you can see this camera is an actual area. So you can see it's 6 inches front, 6 inches to the back, 5 foot wide and 19 foot high. But then you have some other ones that are unrestricted. So this one here, let's see, detail box, front and rear, it is fixed. So it's one for the base plate. So this one here, detail box, is automatic. So it's running through the whole project. No front view, so it's unlimited both directions. So you can unlimit them. Automatic means everything that's in that view will be given on a sheet. So let me delete these two columns that I don't need anyway, or that's might mess up something. So this one here is also a 3D view, an isometric. So basically, whenever you want to put a camera in, you want to go to whatever view you want, like this. Come here, and then you want to set your UCS view to the direction you're looking. And then you can put your camera in. So then go back to your camera, and then go here, create camera, and put your camera in. We're not going to go through all these tools. There's so many tools, it'll be hours and hours to show you. So I'm just showing the general layout of what you can do and how much control you can have. So I've put this on a sheet. So now if I pick this and right click, show camera detail, it'll show me that file. Now you can see it's not a bad looking drawing. I mean, it's pretty close, right? Corner connection, this looks bad. I didn't do all capitals, that's my fault. We can go back in and just change that. Advanced properties, clipping, camera properties, and then do corner connection. You can just put in it's not even A1, but let's say A1 grid line, okay? And then you can go back in and select that, go back to your labels and dimensions, update detail, and this should change. Now, I spelled it wrong, obviously, but you get the idea, right? So, not too bad. You'll have to move some labels, but you know, generally, this looks pretty good. This looks better than the previous year, to be honest with you. You know, you're gonna want to put some dimensions in, but generally, you're gonna want to check things anyway. So, I generally like to put in some of these myself anyway. You can set them up to automatically come in, but that can be kind of difficult. So you could do stuff like that, and then, you know, move your labels around to wherever they're not overlapping stuff, and you get the idea. So you can basically do this with every view. You can come back in here, you can copy these cameras around. So you can copy, so same way you copy anything, you can copy these around and change the name of them. So generally my jobs are fairly small, so I'll come in and I'll pick another camera here and I'll do select a camera. Now you can put it on that same sheet, or if you pick 600 again, if it doesn't fit on 600, it'll put it on this is going to fit on 600, so it will put it on 600. But if the sheet is full, it'll put it on 601. So we'll just put it on 601 and we'll see what this one looks like. So basically just do the same thing, but the problem you're going to have is customizing your drawing styles is going to be your bigger issue. So you can see down here E6. Now you might notice that I'm just putting in the number 601, but it's coming in with an E in front of it. I'll show you where that's controlled. So if I click on this camera and right click, advanced properties, sorry, show camera detail, and we'll open that page and see what that one looks like. So there's the other camera. You can see we have a couple of overlapping labels, but generally not too bad. So you get the idea. So you can do the same with elevations, plans, and you can just do them one at a time like that if you want, or you can set up processes. So I have other processes in the camera where you can see all detailed cameras, page full, all elevations, page full, all cameras, page full. I'll go in and look quickly. So basically we'll go and have a quick look at these. So here we have your drawing processes, your drawing styles, and your templates, and these are very important. Now, as you can see, with this advanced Steel 2022, I'm having issues, and now you can see my UCS has disappeared. Let's see if the audit command will work. Fix errors. The audit command has not worked, and the UCS has also gone down here. I'm scrolling in and out now on the mouse and nothing is happening, so I'm probably going to have to close out and open again. So I'm just going to do that rather than wasting any more time. So I'll just close this out and we'll come back in a second. And the graphics accelerator has turned off. So this is a problem I've been having in the last couple of days. It's been a little frustrating, and I've had a couple of frustrating days, so I'm kind of just doing this video just to get away from the frustration, but it's still here. So I'm just going to keep going. I can see we're running into like 55 minutes, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to keep going. So this is just opening. Sorry, just got a work text there. So this is strange. It's opening up really far away, right? That's not where I closed it. So that's a little strange. So let me go back in here. We can see we have our UCS back, have we? Hopefully. Just looks different, right? Just looks weird. Output. Let's go to shaded. Alright. So I'm going to set, and let's go to view, turn the UCS icon on. It's back on. Okay. Alright. So now we're back to where we were. So what we'll do is, now this is weird. Yeah, this is weird. So what's happened now is these should not be on, because it has not applied my settings. None of these should have been selected. Alright, I won't get into it for now. These shouldn't be available. The American flag, I have that turned off in my system, so I don't know how that happened. So what we'll do is we'll just push on. So drawing processes. So the way we want to start is with drawing styles. So go to your output, drawing styles. So in your drawing styles, it has all the different drawing styles for plans, elevations, end views. This is super customizable, so you can just come in here, you can select a detail view, right click and copy. When you get to the next stage, then you also need to copy the view definition, so you can create a new one here. And then on the level below, you want to go to object presentation and you want to create a new one here. Therefore, when you create new ones, they won't be affecting any other ones because this will be a new one. So we can see this is the original detail view, and they have section name 1/16. The labels, I think, at 1/16 are a little small, so I have mine at 3/32. So that's why I use this one mostly. So basically, you can see in here, this is what's available on the tool palette. If you click here, you can see the ones with no tick box are the ones that are not on the palette. So if you want to activate them, you need to click on them there, but then you will need to close out the palette, close Advanced Steel, and reopen it. Okay, so in here, I have some videos on creating new drawing styles. A drawing style, basically, if you go in here, because we've used the detail view one, basically what happens in the drawing style is it has all these objects, and you can see I have angle. So an angle that's side width, so the end of the angle. So an angle that's the end of the angle, and if we click on the angle actually and go in here, we can see that it's beams with the model roll angle, clip, clip angle, and folded clip. And they do not have to be, it's just any angle basically. So if you go back to object presentation, it'll show you that there's also single part angles up here. These are all controlling angles. Little hard to explain in a couple of seconds, but basically it starts at the top of the list. Anything that's affected will be, it will place these labels and presentation types with them, and then anything that comes after will not be affected. So you want to make sure they're in the order you want them. There is videos there. So the drawing style basically is your bread and butter. It's going to be how it ends up on a sheet of paper, and that's the most important. So you can create these, you can export these, you can do all sorts. You can see up here there's export, import, so you can save them all. So that's your drawing styles. Then you have, it actually bothers me that this is not a capital S. Does that bother anyone else? It's a capital S up here, so it's DS, and here's DP, drawn process. Here it's a big D. Why is this not a big S? Can somebody tell me? But anyway, we won't get into that. So drawn process is here. You can see the drawn process basically, if we go in, I'll try and explain it in a minute to you. The drawing process, we want to go to the user, which actually you want to do in the drawing styles as well. I should have mentioned you want to be in the user one. So you can see I was in the user. So come in here, go to user, drawing process, and here are your drawing processes. You can do the same thing. You can copy these, create new ones. You can see if we go to the one that I was using there. So let's go down this one here. So we can see that it has the main step. It has the object types, selected cameras. You can change this to whatever you want. And in here we have cameras, page full, so it'll fill a page. Prototype is sims.dwg, so that tells you what prototype to put it on. Close the page when the page is full, and you can see this is the numbering. Now I have added an E and a dash in front of it for erection drawing, and that's how I like it. So also at the bottom, so this controls your scales, special scales, and your detail style map is the important one. Well, they're all important, but so if you come in here, you can see that it's telling that the process will run through this. Now you can change this. You can create a new one here. So overview cameras, it's going to use this drawing style. So if I haven't already given it a style, it will use whatever style is specified in here. So I like to specify the style in the camera itself. So it'll just put that right on the sheet. I don't really have to worry about this. This is more for use with your single part drawings and stuff like that. So let's just have a look. So the process for single parts selected, which I use, is this one. Let's say single parts ANSI B. If we come down here to the drawing style, so these things are the same here, right? It sends it to this sheet here, which that is not correct, obviously, because we don't want the ANSI B going to an ANSI C sheet. So I don't know why that's like that. So let's change that while we're in there. Now, sometimes when you go back in, yeah, it did change it. Sometimes it doesn't change it when I go back in. All right, so that's good. So we fixed the problem that I had, that I didn't know I had. So let's come in here to your detail style map, and this is for single parts, and you can see the drawing styles. So what happens is, if it's a clip angle, it's going to send it to this drawing style. If it's a folded beam, it's going to go to this style. If it's a curved beam, it's going to go this style, and etc, etc. So it seems complicated, but it's not really. It's just a lot of stuff. So this is what's controlling my stringer. If I have it given a model role of stringer. So if you want to check your model objects, so stringer, it's going to go to this drawing style, which you can change here also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close that out, and I'm going to go to, so your model objects are not in here. If you want to change your model objects, they're in the drawing styles one. So go into the drawing styles and go to model objects, and let's go to, that's not it, it's there. So it's going to be beams, right? So parts with model role, and stringer should be in here somewhere. Stringer is here, and you can see that it's going to, whatever plate or beam that has the model role stringer will be sent to that drawing style, that it will use the drawing style I just showed you in the process. So that's useful. So that's how you control all those things, right? So you have your drawing style, your drawing process. That's how you get your parts on the sheets. If you want to send all these, what you can do is just send some of these parts to drawings. So I've selected these, and then I can go up to my drawing process, and I'm going to do single parts selected and ADM to either of these, and it'll send all these single parts to drawings. So after they're sent to drawings, you can do the same then with the, I like to select my parts and then do it. So then use your assemblies. So output all those, and then when you go to your document manager, you will be able to see all your parts here, right? So you got all your parts. So there's assemblies. You can see this job had a lot of similar assemblies. So there's the truss. It can look weird here. Let's just open it. It's going to also upgrade. I will not tick the box because I want to see when it's upgrading. So you can see we have our drawing in here. So that was output. I had to put in some of these dimensions myself, I won't lie. So the dimensions can be difficult. So if I click on this outside box, we can see that the drawing style that was used for this was a beam drawing style, which was fine for me, but really I need a truss drawing style, so I need to create a truss drawing style. So what I would do is probably go into that beam one and edit it. So drawing styles and assemblies, ADM beam, that's what it used. So you can see I have an ADM truss here. So I would change it in the process. So you can see it's not going to be terribly different. So what you would do is that process that I used to put that on the sheet, which is so that process would have been the user process, and assembly selected, ADM, so this one here, and then you will go in here, and what you'll have to do is you'll have to create a new one for a truss. So you'll need a model objects for a truss, so, and you'll have to put it probably at the start. So I'm not going to get into it now, but basically you're going to create it here, and you'll go in and look for your main part truss, main part with model role. It might not be in here, so yeah, so you'll probably have to create it. So you'll have to go back and create a model object for that, which is not difficult. So I'm just going to cancel out that. I'm not going to save anything, so you can go back in, you can see that wasn't saved. So I'm going to cancel out that and okay. So basically now you know how to put the cameras on the drawings. So you put cameras on drawings for your GAs, and then you do your piece details, and then you can do lists. So here's some lists. So what I'll do is, let's go back here. I will have select elements. You can see I have a group for all the parts that are to be put on a list or are for numbering. Now if we go in here and click on this existing one, we can see I've named it existing, which controls how it looks on the drawing. And I also have the behavior is set not used for numbering, not used for lists, so they shouldn't come out on the list anyway. Now we can see it's not, yeah, it is marked as an assembly. Alright, so I was just wondering, this should actually allow me to tick these boxes, but it's not. Alright, so basically we want to do a list. So what I'll do is I'll just open this. This is how I do lists. Up here people create lists. I don't do it that way, so I guess that's just the way I do it. So what I do is I'll go back here and I'll select all, and you can see all of these are selected. Now you can see my graphics have gone a bit weird from whatever happened earlier, so let's just see if we can turn the graphics on again. See what happens. Yeah, I don't like that I can't see these when they're highlighted properly. Yeah, I like that. That's the way I want it. Alright, so let's see if that works again. Alright, that's better. So alright, so now I'm going to put these on a list. So what I'm going to do is select on our templates, assembly list, ADM, okay. And that's going to put them on a list. You can see it's working down in the bottom corner. Here you go, there's your list, 3 pages, because it looks like a lot of parts, but a lot of them are the same. So you can see here's your trusses, there's 9 trusses, there's 9 main parts, 18 B1s, 9, so that list is good. Now if you want to edit these lists, you can see I have it kind of personalized a little bit. So you want to export that, then you want to save it as a PDF. Okay, it's going to automatically put it inside into that BOM folder I showed you earlier. So in order to edit that bill of materials or create a new one, you can go in here. So on the document manager and the output, click on this, and this is going to open this. Let me minimize this a little so you guys can see it. All right, so I'm going to go to user templates, and I'm going to go to ADM, and let's go across. All right, so I'll just do the assembly list that I already had, and it'll open it up here. So what I can do is we can right click here and we can copy this. So I can copy it and it'll create a new one. Just rename it, or you can rename this one, whatever you want to do. So I can put one in there. I'll actually copy it and we'll just do it. So, and I'll call it, okay. So I'll create a new one. So that is my new one. Now, in order for that to show up on the pallet, I'm going to need to click on the top here. And I'm going to check. All right, so it's going to be available on the pallet. So that's fine. But it will not be available on the pallet until we close these out, close Advanced Steel, and open it again. So just be aware, the changes won't take effect until this kind of gets rebooted. So now when we're in here, what we can do is you can come in here, you can delete that, you can insert a new image, you know, you can do all sorts. You can move these around, you can drag the end of it, you can change these. So you can see in here, name of project. So if I click on, so I didn't save that, I messed up there now, sorry. That's one of the fatal mistakes in Advanced Steel, is closing things and then pressing no instead of yes. So I did actually, it is still available. All right, so let's see, click on it here. So we can delete that, and you can see project over here. Let's close this a little, sorry. It keeps maximizing it for me. All right, so over here, you can see when you click on project, you can see that it's using the text project. Now, if I want to change that text, there is a way to do it in the system, but the easiest way to do it is delete this. So this tag is going to have to be empty if you want to change this. So you can see if I go to name of project, this has the text name of project. So this is intelligent text. So if I go here, we can see we have project user attributes. Here it's just assembly list, so it's just text with no tag. Detailer is going to have the tag, and it's going to have detailer in here. Project number. So these are these texts are intelligent. So project user attributes, you can find all these online on the Autodesk website. Basically, if you want to see what's controlled in the material list, go to report contents. You can see it's going to include plates, beams, curved beams, so you can add whatever you need here, bolts, whatever the hell you want in here. So that's another thing I'm not going to get into because there's plenty of videos out there on it. Now, if you want to figure out the sorting of the list, so how you want to sort the list, come in here to the detail at the top of it and go to sorting, and you can see that this is, my one is created by sorting by weight first, then by single part mark, then by material, and then by name. So I change this all the time for different companies. So you can also create a different list for different companies, so you don't have to change it all the time. That's fine too. So you can create whatever list you want here. Do you want to save? Yes, I do. So you can see there's all sorts of other lists here which you can create your own. You know, this is one I did right at the very start. You can see I did some weird logo. It's funny. So there's all sorts of loading lists. There's drawn lists. Whatever you need, they're all available there. And you can just edit them to whatever way you want, right? So you have drawn lists, which are useful also. You want to be in the user template, sorry. Drawn lists, approval status, you know, so there's all sorts here. Lists are great, so you obviously need to send your lists out with your project. And your drawn styles are going to create your output. So your document manager then is going to control all that stuff, and in order to plot these out, then these are my assemblies. So what I'll do is I'll just select my assemblies by using the shift button, add to batch plot. Now you want to check you don't need to update any stuff before you do this, and then you want to come in here, and there's other ways to batch plot. You can batch plot also. This is how I plot. Multi-sheet file, okay. Plot the documents. There are still documents we printed. Cancel. Sorry, I was closing out of that. Sorry, I didn't realize. Okay. So what that was basically doing is it's upgrading each sheet now because it's opening them as it's plotting them. So it's actually useful. Maybe this is a good way to update all my drawings, just plot them out, and rather than having to open them and close them. That's actually interesting. I'm probably going to use this again. You know, it's easier than opening them all and doing it and then closing them all. It's just kind of opening them and closing them for you. So then that PDF file will be over here. Now you do the same thing. You're going to do the same thing when you want to do your GAs. So it basically prints out those files here, and it gives you this PDF of those assemblies, right? And then you send that to the client. You do the same with the GAs first. I won't get into that. Well, I can do that too, I guess. So my GAs for this job are, let's open them up. GAs are probably not up to date. I'm not going to update them right now. So what I'll do is I'll just add them to batch plot. I won't update them. Doesn't really matter. I can update them, I guess, because this is a copied folder. It's not my original folder. So it's going to be in the batch plot. Choose plotter. Multi-file. And print. And now the same thing will happen. Cannot read. Okay. It'll probably come up 3 times because there's 3 drawings. Right. And now ignore the SHX. Okay. Now you won't have to do this the next time around. Ignore. Okay. I like to click on them. I don't like to tick those boxes because I like to know what's going on. So you can always click on this if you want, or click on this one. Okay, and that's going to output your GAs. Now I did not rename that other file, so it has now created one with the same name over the other one. So here's your GAs. I also have a link to the model in here. I can, you know what, the video is longer than I thought anyway. I'm just going to keep going. So you can see there's some GAs for that, some quick GAs. You can send those to the client and get your approval. You want to do revisions. That's also available in your document manager, and you can just select these if you want. And let's do a revision. So one of these is opened, so let's close this out. I'm not going to save it because it was blank looking there, so I don't want it to be blank, so let's not save it. And it doesn't matter, as I say, I have all this saved, so I'm going to come back in here, status, and I'm going to do revision, and then we'll just call it A, and today's date, and my initials, and description. Revise and resubmit. Okay, and you can see it's working through it here. And okay, and now let's open this up, and if we come down here we can see index A, index A, AM, and I have everything to the left hand side here, which is fine. I'd prefer this to be in the middle. What I'll do is, you can see it's kind of jumped outside this box, so I kind of need to fix this a little bit. This is not good, right? This is not what we want. So you can actually go into the prototype, but if you just go in here, you can see the column format is here and everything, right? So you can just change this one if you want to, or go into the prototype and change them all. So I'll show you how to do the prototype after this. So the heading, so you can see the text alignment of the heading is on the left hand side. So if I do here, you can see that moves over to the center. So let's do left side, but we can do the column format, we'll do center, and you can see it'll move that to center. So that's how you can control that, right? So it actually looks a little better there now. It's kind of a little, yeah, that's a better size. All right, so we won't get into that, but if you click on this outside, you can see that we are on Sims Assembly each. That's the process. And so if I do plot, P-L-O-T, we can see that this is an ANSI C sheet. So what I'm going to do is open the prototype. So in order to edit your prototypes, we'll open two of them. So if you come to the Output tab and go to Edit Prototypes, let's pick, we'll pick my own GA sheet, and I'll pick Assembly C Sims. Okay, so I'll open these two prototypes. This is another problem I have. I really need to open and close all these to update all my prototypes. So okay, and again okay, because I'm opening two of them. So we can see that this is what that sheet looked like, but it got a little messed up when it got printed out, right? Because the description field was not long enough, right? So if I go back, we can see that this wasn't long enough. So that's why when this was back over here, it jumped up above, right? So let's keep it down there and it looks better, right? So what we'll do is we'll go back into this one, and if you want to create a new one, just rename it before you do anything. But if you just want to mess with this one, just move that over. The date probably doesn't need to be that long, right? The order doesn't need to be that long. So something like that is probably a little better, right? I can move this back over a little, and then you can go in I kind of want the index to be in the middle, the author, the date, but I don't want the description to be in the middle. So what I'll do is advanced properties. I'll do column format. So the index format, I'm going to put in the middle. Author, I'm going to put in the middle. Date, I'm going to put in the middle. That's the format inside in here. And now I'm going to go to the heading, and I'm going to do index in the middle, author in the middle, date in the middle. And I'll probably change this again later, but that just shows you how to change it. And then we're going to save. So we're going to save that. So up here, we double click on this, we can see that this is a bolt list. And that bolt list, there's videos out there showing you how to edit these, so I'm not going to really get into it too much, but basically you want to come in here and ungroup them, and then you have to regroup them. So this can be a little tricky. So if you click on ungroup, no, so edit group, select a group. Yeah, these are your tools. Look, it's been a while. Group manager. Yeah, I'll have to get into it. I have a video there for it. I don't want to start messing with it now, to be honest. But you can insert these. So this is a structured list. They can be a little tricky to play with, so a specific video would be better to play around with those. So basically, if you want to insert one of those, go to labels and dimensions and insert list, or insert drawn list, and then you can just put in a drawn list, and you can select the type of drawn list you want. The material list will be on the single part drawn, so we don't want it on this one, but it just shows you how to put it in, and you can lock it in by using these grips here. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to save that again. So that'll show you how to do that. Look, all this stuff in here is done in the block editor. So these are all your tokens that you can use, and your image. As far as the image goes, I would not attach an image. I would just copy and paste. So I would go out to an image, make sure it's pretty small, copy and paste. Just make sure when you're pasting, you go all the way back, and then do Control V and paste it in there. Because if you're in too close, it won't let you edit the size of the image. So make sure you're back all the way, insert the image, then put it where you want. Most importantly, when you close out a block editor, you need to do att sync, at sync, select, and I'm going to select that block, and the at sync is complete, and that updates whatever is inside that block. So you need to do the at sync. Really important. If you forget that, you'll be wondering why your prototype is not working properly. Alright, so we're going to close that one, and then we're going to have a look at the GA one. It's fairly basic. It's got the same thing. It's got a border, which is in one block, and this is on the hypersteel page frame. So discard changes, and then you can come in here, block editor, and then you can see you have all your stuff in here. We have just text here, we have image here, the same way we would do the other one, and then we have these tokens available. So this one I use for the architect's name, so I put it in the Project Explorer. So I'll show you where that is right now. That's actually something I forgot to cover at the start. So basically you edit this the same way. These are all intelligent. They'll come in with whatever values you've given these. This one here, it says isometric. This is just text. So I'll just change this title when I get into a drawing. So I'll have this as plan view first floor, whatever. Next one will be plan view second floor, sections, so on. Probably a better way of doing that than I do it, but that's how I do it. So we're going to close this one out. All rights reserved. What date is that? 2022. Okay. While I was in here. All right. So I'm going to close that. So your project settings are obviously very important. So you want to go home and come over here. Project settings. Project settings. You're going to have the name of the job, the project number, the client, the building location. You can have the contractor, date. All these things are important. The length units. These I will have set up already in my template file. So you can set up some of this stuff already in your template file. You can see this is already set up in my template file, the checked by and detailed by. User attributes, architect, engineer, and this one I use for my bill of materials. So let's just see. Let's just change this to roof. CTU roof structure, and I'll put the date in. So 5/19. I'll just put, no, you know what? Roof structure 1. Okay, we'll just call it roof structure 1. Okay, roof structure 1. Then we'll come back here and we'll we'll go to all, select elements. Then we're going to go to our templates, assembly. Okay. So now this is going to output a bill of materials for me, and we can see that my phase has come in, roof structure 1. That's what I typed in. So that's how I control that, so I don't have to edit it afterwards. So if I was going to do this like existing steel, I would just come in here and change this to existing steel and then output the list. It's a little bit jinky, but you know, it works for me. So really then, I guess one of the most important things in advanced steel is the management tools. A lot of stuff in here in the management tools, preferred sizes, defaults, probably the most important. Lots of settings in here. I mean, you could have a 5-hour video just on everything in here. Drawing general, you'll have a lot of stuff in here. Create both main parts and single parts, create only single parts for beams, plates, all this stuff. You know, there's so many settings in here. You can filter settings, so you can do labels. And if I go to general, you can see text size for drawing labels, minimum distance. So let's put in text and we'll see what the text for labels is. So architect's dollar and 3/16. Title 3/16, so that's good. All right, so basically that's your defaults. These are in your management tools. Anchors, you can create new anchors. You can go in and your nuts, everything. It's got everything in here. Create new anchors. You can duplicate. Oh, this is a whole, you know, there's a whole load of customization. You can really do whatever you want. It just takes a long time to learn how to do it. And it's a kind of a never-ending process, I would say. So you have anchors there. You have shear studs, same things. Bolts, same things. You can also in your defaults set up different profiles, so create new profiles. If you go back to home, in the options here you can change the current author, so you can have different authors, and unit selection, inches, architectural. So there's a whole lot in there. I mean, the management tools alone, there's just so much stuff. The other thing then is, if you want Dxf files, pretty simple. You have settings here for the Dxf files for the machines. NC1 I find most people want. It comes as NC, so just add a 1 to it. It's that simple. Now, the Dxf settings, if you set this to, if this is set to single part numbers, you won't get any markings for your columns, the plates and the columns, so you probably want to set this to main part number. Dxf settings, here it just shows you the layers, and I have this set up the way I want it. So let's just say it's set up correctly. Basically, just pick a beam, come up here, and go to output. Actually, you have more choice. Go down here and select your Dxf. No, actually, sorry, Dxf is for a plate, so I don't want to select Dxf. I want to select NC, and you can see the file has been created successfully. That file will then be available inside in the project folder. If you go back into the project folder, documents received, sorry, what am I going? DWG, and then go into Norport, DSTV, NC, and there's your NC files. Now, if you don't believe me, I'll go in here and we can delete all these. So let's delete these. Let's minimize that. And let's go in here and select these two here. Let's do NC file and let's open it. And there's your files already. So pretty fast. I don't have too many plates here, but I have some plates. So what I'll do is I'll select see there, my advanced steel is gone again. I'm sorry, my 2022. My cursor is moving around. You might be able to see it there on the, yeah, you can just barely see it on the left hand side. Anyway, what I was going to do was I was going to see, it won't even go back on the page. So my cursor is working on my computer outside. If let me, I can't even minimize this. I can't even minimize it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close it, Task Manager. And so this is the struggles I've been dealing with at the minute. So what I'll just show you the plates as well. This video is already dragged on, so I feel like somebody will get benefit out of watching this video. Maybe while you're working, have it on the background, but I know it's pretty long. So as you can see, still crashing on me. I don't know, other people don't seem to be having the same problems I have, but I've customized mine quite a bit, so maybe that's the reason. Again, it's opening all the way back here, which seems weird. It's in shaded, so let's just go back in. Alright, so let's select two plates. So I'm going to select this plate and this plate, sorry, this plate, and going to go to output and Dxf. Now you can have the plates, and there you can see Dxf. Now one other thing I want to show you actually, which is useful, is if I go to, sorry, if I go to a 2D view wireframe, so I have a column here, so advanced joint properties. So let's go to plates and stiffeners. Holes, punch marks, sorry. So punch marks on the base plate. Did you see the punch marks came in here? So you can see there's punch marks. So they're useful to have. So put the punch marks and flange center end plate. So you can see it's putting more punch marks. We don't need those. Okay, so that has punch marks. So what we're going to do now is let's select this and let's show the part detail, which is not up to date. Okay, so we can see this was the part detail before I put the punch marks, and now update detail, and here it is after the punch marks. So now we have punch marks in. So you can also have it come in with those dimensions, but if you just update it like I did, just click on parametric dimensions and just add your own dimensions quickly. If it's just the one case, it's not a big deal, right? Just add it in. I'm going to be opening the drawings anyway to check everything because I don't do huge projects, so it depends how much you have to rely on. And then also when you go back, if I click on this and I go to output and DXF, just go back in and check. See, it's on single part. So let's just check the difference, right? So I'll leave it on single part. And let's select the plate and let's go to DXF. So it has outputted the DXF, right? So let's check the folder. It's the base plate, so it's this one. So let's open it. Start. Open. So, sorry, we want to go in here. DWG, Northport, DSTV, and then just go down here, DXF, and let's open it up. So you can see there's a DXF, great, right? We have our number down here, which you can control in the management tools, the location of the number, whether you want it in 1 inch, 2 inches, whatever. So that looks pretty good, but I don't have any location of the column. So what I'm going to do is close that. I'm not going to save it. I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to delete it, right? So let's delete it. And let's come back in here to the model and let's select the plate and let's go to the settings and do based on main parts. Okay. And then, sorry, we don't want to do the settings again. We want to go to DXF. We'll go back and we can see that it has again created a DXF very quickly. And then we're going to go to here and we're going to go to open. I'm going to open that next DXF and you can see it has come in with the contour for the column. So that is useful. If you're sending this to anybody and it's coming in with the name, right? So big difference in those two, right? One, you're getting the plate that you want. The other one, you're getting the plate and the location, so the guy doesn't have to mark it out on site. Big difference. So that's a huge help, and I'm sure all the clients will want that. Apart from the guys that think they know better and they don't want to waste the piercings on marking out the corners of the plate, but that's up to them. And then your drawing here will match. All right. So I'm just trying to think what else I can cover. I kind of want to leave the NC files to the end. At that point, generally on a daily basis, I will come in, go to my folder, and then I will zip this up and I'll put it in my Dropbox. I also have a hard drive. I'm just working off the computer. I'm just one guy, so I don't work off a server that's backed up or anything like that. I did have a NAS drive set up, but it didn't, cropped out on me, my own fault. So basically we're, God, an hour and 45 minutes in. Hope this wasn't a waste. I hope people found it useful. I didn't lay out a plan beforehand, so maybe I could have laid out a plan. It would have went a little better. Maybe I'll update the video later and do a better video. But basically that's it. Just be sure everything is controlled with model roles. So in here you want to have your model roles set. That's what controls it in the drawing styles, and that's how it's going to be controlled on your drawings. And layers, use as many layers as you can, the colors of the layers. The other thing, the one other thing really is the plot style. So if I come in here and I want to show that assembly detail. That should be the main part of the assembly. Interesting. It's not letting me open the assembly for that short way I usually do it. So let me see. It's not letting me open it right, so something is messed up here. Let me open a different one if I can. Alright, it's just not letting me open that one for some reason. Alright, so in here, when you plot, your plot style is controlled in here in your drawing. So you can do this inside in your prototype is where you want to do this. You can do it drawing specific by doing it the way I'm doing it right now, but just do this same exact steps in your prototype, and you can see it's using this to plot. So if you come in here, you can see this CTB file is controlling what's plot. So it's going to plot a red to a black. It's going to control the yellow to a black, or print yellow to black. Now if I go to color 8, it's also going to black 9. So what I do is, let's see what 253 is. So I have 253 set to plot and in the 253 color. So all the existing stuff is going to come in lighter. Now, obviously, you can create a new one. So, you know, you don't need to, what you can do is open this and save it as a new one. I just edit the same one, to be honest with you. So, so basically that's what's controlling what it's going to look like. So let's just plot it out and see. So if I plot PLOT, it's going to automatically use this one, but I can also change it. So you can also come in and change it here. So I'll just leave it like that for now, and let's see what it looks like. And that's what it's going to plot out like. Now sometimes you can, if you want, take off the object line weights. Sometimes it makes a difference, but mostly not for details. You can see how it looks a little better. It works good for plan views. If some of the lines are looking too thick, just get rid of the line weights altogether and it comes out pretty nice. So you can do that individually in drawings like that I just did there. So basically you can also select, if I open up the other detail, so show camera detail, so I'll open 606. So what you can do is just select that clipboard, copy with base point, select, and then you can just copy that onto the next sheet. Control V. It works pretty good. So you can just copy your details around like that. You can just go back and delete the other one, or just move it to one side. Just make sure your plot area is set up to layout. So if you go to page setup again, you want to do this in your prototype. Modify. You can see it's set to layout. So it'll just print out what's in this black layout. Okay. Other than that, I think that's most things. So I didn't get into any of the modeling. There's so many tools, you can't cover them all, as you can see, but that's kind of the process. You come in, create your model, create cameras, use all cameras all the time. Use cameras with elevations, cameras with plans, cameras with isometrics, cameras with details, copy them around, put them on sheets, using drawing processes, drawing styles, output your lists, output your or your piece details, your assemblies, output your Dxf files, your NC files for your beams, all your machine files, and that's it. I think that's kind of covered everything. I mean, I feel like just brushed over stuff, you know, and it's been almost 2 hours, so hopefully some new users will find this useful, and maybe some people who were thinking, can they use advanced steel, how does it work, how good is it? I think this might be a guide that will help you. Obviously it's very long, but it will give you an idea of the tools you have. Not all of them now, that was just some of the tools you can have to control your modeling, control your output, and create some nice drawings. And you know, you can also, that tool palette I closed at the start, so if I type in tool, sorry, if I was able to spell it would help. So that's open. This is an AutoCAD tool palette, but it's got your sections, your call outs, it's got lots of useful stuff that are AutoCAD stuff, so that's useful also. But you know, not getting into the details of things, just kind of showing you what you can use. There's also a design center, and the design center is useful for copying things from one drawing to another, so it's also useful. You can go to open drawings, and I'm only in Northport, so you can see, is there any blocks in here? There is 2 blocks. And drawing styles, imperial metric, dim styles. See, there should be more. Yeah, so you can see it just shows you what's in the drawing. When you have your 2D drawings open, some of these will be better. The dim styles. So sorry, yawning. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. What I'll do is, if there's any interest, maybe I'll try and do this video a little better next time, maybe lay it out, and maybe spend a couple of hours going through everything. Alright, I hope this helps anyone that's curious. Take care. Next time, please like, subscribe, all that stuff, right? So I know that you've any interest. Alright, bye-bye. Take care.